Number 1. David Bowie. David Bowie is heralded as a bastion for changing attitudes towards sexuality and male masculinity and femininity. However, many fans of the beloved rock star conveniently forgive or live in ignorance of his devious sexual exploits. Laurie Matix, disturbingly celebrated in rock and roll culture as a baby groupie, confirmed that at 26 years old, David Bowie took her virginity at the age of 14. Quote, "He got into the tub already filled with water and asked me to wash him. Of course I did. Then he escorted me into the bedroom, gently took off my clothes and de-virginized me." Bowie then went on to have a threesome that same night again with Matix and her 15-year-old drugged up friend Sable. There seems to have been a perverted culture of statutory rape of young groupies in the 70s. A rock and roll paedophile ring involving some of the biggest names in the world of music. Number 2. Edgar Allan Poe was a creative genius, a man who thrived on the darker side of life and elegantly expressed it through writing. The man led a life and died a death of mystery and intrigue, of which his marriage was no different. The morbid theme of his work carried into his life, developing an incestuous relationship with his cousin, Virginia Elisa Clem Poe. Edgar, then 27 years old, took his 13-year-old cousin as his wife. Many a fan will forgive Edgar Allan Poe for his disturbing marriage to his own young cousin. Certainly in the US during the 19th century, the age of consent was between 10 and 16 depending on the state. However, this was far from the norm, as women typically entered marriage aged between 20 and 22. This begs the question, how much depravity are we willing to forgive for talent? Number 3. Elvis Presley. Elvis Presley was another man of mystique, mystery and talent. From the inception of his life, Elvis was plagued with a terrible secret. He was the surviving twin of 2 brothers, having lost his sibling at birth. This may very well have led to his warped perversions in later life. It has been speculated that his mother's overprotective smothering since losing her other son had left the superstar emotionally dysfunctional. An obsession with purity and innocence, possibly in morbid homage to his dead brother, drove an infatuation with virginity. Intimidated and disgusted by older, more experienced women, Elvis would target younger girls. The most notable target of this would be his soon-to-be wife Priscilla, who he met at the not-so-ripe age of 14. Ever obsessed with the purity of his girls, Elvis would not take Priscilla's virginity until much later. However, that does not excuse the deplorable acts he did partake with the young girl. It has been quoted that first night with Elvis, he made love to her in every way short of penetration. It also seemed that Elvis had a kink for foreplay and voyeurism, and very rarely committed to full penetrative sex. Elvis would eventually marry a 21-year-old Priscilla, and he fully consummated the marriage, leading to the birth of Lisa Marie. Perhaps unsurprisingly, after the birth of Lisa Marie, Elvis would soon break off the marriage with Priscilla, presumably again in homage to another dead relative, his mother. He believed that motherhood was sacred and was unwilling to have sex with her again. His affinity for young girls and virginity must also have played a huge part in this decision. Although the complete list of virgin and underage conquests of Elvis Presley will never be known, here is a list of some of them. Priscilla Bewley, 14. Jackie Rowland, 14. Frances Forbes, 14. Gloria Moel, 14. Heidi Hyson, 14. Sandy Farrer, 14. Risa Smith, 14. Joyce Bova, 25, virgin. Linda Thompson, 22, virgin. Kathy Westmoreland, 25, virgin. It is quite ironic that David Bowie and Elvis Presley share these devious traits as well as a birthday. Titans of music and culture, but the culture of disturbing sexual fetishes lurks disgustingly among the greatness. Elvis met a fittingly disgusting end, dying on the toilet via heart attack before his time, but past his best. A young, overweight, constipated junkie. Number 4. Roman Polanski. Maybe this is well known, maybe this isn't, but I struggle to believe that so many actors would work for and heap praise on a child wrist. Indeed, even the one that is Piers Morgan deserves credit for outing actors for their support of a pedophile named Roman Polanski. Morgan recently decimated Ewan McGregor for his hypocrisy in refusing to appear on This Morning after he disagreed with his views on the Women's March against Trump. As Piers Morgan wrote, had we done the interview, I might have asked him how his heroic support for women justifies him working for director Roman Polanski, a self-confessed and convicted child abuser on the film The Ghostwriter. Polanski is another celebrity to have lived through horrific tragedy. He was a survivor of the Krakow ghetto and his mother was murdered in Auschwitz. Sharon Tate, a movie star herself, the pregnant wife of Polanski, was mercilessly murdered by the Manson family. However, Polanski has inflicted his own tragedy in the world. In 1977, at the age of 43, he drugged and sodomised 13-year-old Samantha Gailey. Despite Oscar-winning fame, Polanski has been on the run ever since he admitted the crime. It is bizarre that Hollywood would permit Polanski to win an Oscar for The Pianist, knowing he was a fugitive for his crime of child rape and could not collect the prize for fear of arrest.
Goes for Roman Polanski for The Pianist.
What is particularly hard to stomach about the case is that he has managed to escape justice and stigma. A whole host of actors and celebrity figures either openly work for or defend the beast.
She is not a child. She is a young woman. She had and testified to it previous sexual experience. She wasn't unschooled in sexual matters.
Number 5. Steve Tyler from Aerosmith. Another 70s rock star, another 14-year-old groupie, another celebrity child molester. Although this follows a similar theme of the previously mentioned musicians, this somehow scrapes the grime off the bottom of the barrel. The girl in question was Julia Holcomb. Somehow, someway, the lead singer from Aerosmith convinced the child's parents to sign over legal guardianship to the singer. Essentially, her parents signed a permission slip for her to get used and abused by the 27-year-old singer. Not only does he openly admit to it, he actually courts and receives sympathy over an abortion he allegedly forced her to have at the age of 17. Tyler showed little remorse after the deed was done, moving on to notorious groupie B.B. Buell. Far from facing the scorn of the public and the media, Steven Tyler is highly celebrated to this day. His musical accolades and his performance as a judge on American Idol has turned him into a household name, but far from the wholesome, eccentric persona of the rock icon lurks a murky past of statutory rape and the alleged forced abortion of an underage girl, one he was sworn to protect. It seems in America, all that separates the prison yard chomos and the 70s rock pedophiles is the ability to make great music. There was undoubtedly something very strange going on in the 70s rock era. There seems to be an underlying child molestation culture among this clique. Time after time, rock stars of this era have openly been in sexual relationships with children, with little to no stigma or punishment. In researching this list, it is disturbing how many 70s musicians courted the same baby groupies. Men who could have any woman in the world passing around between each other, underage girls. Many more high-profile rock stars could make this list via the same victims. There is an underlying web of child exploitation, and some of the greatest rock stars of that era are the biggest spiders involved.